Welcome back. So in this session, we will see few of the status codes. So that is nothing but the HTTP status code, or we can say the REST API response status code. Now we have seen in our previous sessions uh, what are the methods, like the common methods for the CRUD operation, like if you can do get, post, put, delete, or patch. So any one of these methods you can use to send your request to the API server or the application server. Now to get the response actually, or to know actually the status of your request which you sent, there are few categorizations are there based on your success or error actually. So if you are sending a request, if it is successful, then it is categorized into a particular numbers, and if it is like failure from the client side or from the server side, then those are differentiated based on that numbers actually. So based on these numbers you will identify whether your request, I mean if it is something from your from the requester side you need to fix something, or from the server side or application server side if there is any issue on that. So there are actually plenty of what you call these numbers are available. So let me just show you real quick. So here is the list of all available status codes of the HTTP. So here you can see the hundreds. So these are nothing but hundreds, we call it. If it is a informational response code, then we call it as a informational, and if it is a 200, it means that your request is succeeded. And a redirection, it is some kind of not errors but some kind of response you are getting if it is a redirection based. So those are nothing but 300 codes. 400 errors are basically, so 400 and 500s are basically the errors. Either it could be from the client side who is requesting that service, or from the server side the application server may not process the request well. So those are categorized as 500 server errors. But we will not be dealing with all these codes actually, be it a success or the error code. There are few common codes are there which is required for day in day out job, like especially for a QA related, or if you are doing some kind of REST API automation testing or manual testing with Postman, then you will be encountering day in day out all these types of what you call codes actually. So we don't call it as a error code, but we call it as a status code. Okay, if you want to know more details, you can just visit to this particular portal and you will see all available codes. Okay, so now so we have listed as 200s, 400s, and then 500s. Okay, so as you can see, the 200s are basically the success codes. It means that your request is properly processed, and then the server actually returned with a success message, we can say that. So the common available status codes are 200, that is okay, it means that your request is processed properly. 201 created, it is basically related to your post call. 200 is basically related to get call and post call as well, and put as well. Okay, 204 is sometimes where you don't have any content actually, so that time it will show it as 204. It means that your request is properly sent to the application server, but there is no content actually to display. So at that time 204 will be coming there. So one quick example I can show in Postman. So let me open the Postman. So here if you see, we have seen in our previous sessions by how we can create a fake JSON server actually. So in that we have created one particular what you call kind of a JSON data. So it's basically a profile data. You can see there is a name, email address, and one of the courses that this particular name is registered with. Just a data, a dummy data only. So if I do a get call on this particular, so let me go to, yeah, so to do a get call I need to have a token for, and if you click on this get call, here you can see 200, it means that okay, that means that this particular call is succeeded and it is giving you a access token, and this token I can use into the get call. We have already seen this one. So if you see into the header, we have sent that as a bearer token. Okay, and there is no body because I'm just doing a get call only. And if you do a get call, you will see all the data from the from the database.json file which we have already entered from our backend. Okay, so this get call you are getting 2 not. So how will be 201 will be created? So in that I need to do a post call. So post call, and then this is my local host colon 8000 as a port, and then profile is my resource. Okay, and in this I will be sending a particular body. So if I let me change a bit this one so that I will get a new resource. Let it be all these things, and I can change this one to something else. And if I do a post call here, you can see it is successfully got. So I am getting this response, means this is what it is created as a resource item. And you can see the status code is 201. The same thing you will get if there is no content, you will get a 204. So these are all 200 success messages. The same thing we have 300s, as I told, those are informational and we are not using that as much, so we will not be discussing those things. Now the main important things are 400s and the 500 errors. So these are basically called as errors. It means that there are some problems from your client side or from the application server. So based on that we have categorized. So let's look into the 400. Now 400 errors are basically the errors those are generating from the client side. So while you are requesting, so let's say that you are doing a post request or a get request in the postman, but the data is not correct. So, sometimes your authorization will not be correct. So you might not be giving a proper token, and sometimes you are not giving proper JSON data. So at that time you will be getting some kind of client errors. Okay, so that's why we have given that as a orange color. It means that it's an error, but it can be fixed from the client side itself only. So let's see couple of error codes, actually how the client error codes are coming actually based on the invalid data or invalid endpoint and everything. So let's discuss few of that. So for that, again I will open my postman, and in this let's do one thing. Let me save. Okay, so one thing, 405, right? So if you see the 405, there is one which is method not allowed. It means that if you are performing certain operations, like you will see here so many different types of what do you call, the calls are there, right? Different requests, get, post, put, patch. So if your application server might not be handling all these requests, like for an example, let's say that I am requesting a log method request. Now if I do this one, I will get a 404. Okay, so 404 is not found. It means that it is saying this particular method is not found, or else let's see if any other to get. So these are different kind of errors you will get. Let me put some options as a, so it is getting as no content. It means that it is sent successfully, but there is nothing to return actually. So that's why you're getting 204 content. So I mean we have to find a proper what do you call method which it says that is a not implemented or kind of that. So let me do a unlock. Okay, it's not coming. Let me do a get call. In this I'm doing a link call. Let's see. Okay, all are returning as 404, but if certain what you call request, if that method is not implemented on your application server side, you will get a 405 error actually on that. So the same thing you have unauthorized. So let's say that if my bearer token, so if I'm changing my bearer token for some reason, let's say that I'm putting a 1 here. Okay, and then if you do here, you are getting a 401 error. Now 401 error is unauthorized. It means that the I mean your username and password is not correct. So so it can be doable, right, from the client side. It means you can give a proper password for that, or proper bearer token for that. Sometimes you will get 414 error, which is your URI is too long. If you see, it's a short URI, right? But if your URI is long enough, like you might have so many combinations of query parameters, then sometimes the application server might not what do you call evaluate that long URI. So that time it might throw a I mean what do you call 414 error actually. So these all errors can be rectified from the client side. Okay. So sometimes if your endpoint is incorrect, so let's say that if my this endpoint is not exactly existed, if I do a get call here, and you will see access token. Okay, because access token. Okay, now if you see here, it is again okay for all the errors, it is giving as a 404. Let me give it a try, some other request actually. Let me go to some other, maybe go rest. And if here, if I go, let me give a incorrect endpoint. So it is again giving me the 404 not found only. Let me do a success, and then okay, so it is giving a success message. Now here let me give a different. So here you can see the code error is 405. This method is not allowed because the allowed methods are get, post, head and options only. So for this particular endpoint, these are only the options you can use it. So 405 is coming. Okay, so we have seen 404, 405 and unauthorized. So these are basically the client errors which you can fix it on your own actually. So that's why these are not basically the critical errors, we can say. So if in your automation testing or in Postman, if you are performing anything and if you are getting any kind of 400 related errors, then you might not what do you call need to raise this as a critical issue, because which you can do it from your own side and not much a worry scenario. Okay, so these are all about the 400 or the client errors. There are few errors actually which can cause because of the application server. Okay, so the application server is not maintained, or if it is down, then you will get something, we mark it as a red, and that is nothing but your 500 server errors. Okay, so 500 server errors, basically the requester or the client side, we might not fix this one, we have to raise that. So in real time scenario, you have to talk to your DevOps or else to your application developer team to fix those kind of errors. So again, there are a lot of available error codes are there, but I have just listed down the day in day out we are using. So 500 errors, basically these are the errors caused because of the internal server error. So if you are I mean in the now from where actually these error codes are coming. So your developer would have written, if this is the exception we are getting, then you throw this particular error code. So that's how they are doing. Not implemented, let's say that you're requesting something but it is not yet implemented from your application server side, then they might throw this 501 as a not implemented. Bad gateway, sometimes if your that your endpoint is not properly built, or if it is not proper, then you might get a bad gateway. Service unavailable, if your application server is down, so you might get 500 or 503. Gateway timeout, let's say that if your application server is responding late, so at that time, or it is delaying that request, processing that request. Let's say in some time, if it is a peak hours and more users are what you call hitting to the server, and the server don't have that much of capacity to handle those requests, so you might get a gateway timeout. Okay, so these are particular the errors, and based on these errors you might what do you call raise bugs in your for your applications. And if you want to know all available error codes or the status codes, you can refer to this particular website. So if you see this particular portal, actually they have marked with a star mark. So these star marks are basically the what do you call, more used or the top used HTTP codes. Those are you will get day in day out in your request response scenarios or in API calls. Okay, so that's about it related to the status codes. So give it a try. You can use any available API servers. So if you are using a fake JSON server, which we have seen in our in one of our sessions, so you can use that. Can just run your server. So here is that actually. So I will post that particular session link so that you can refer and you can use this one if you want to use a local what do you call option. But if you're going for a live portal, you can use this go rest. So if you see this gorest.co.in, so you have to go to this portal and register yourself. You will get a bearer token, and this token you can use for all of your requests or whatever calls you are doing. So do not use this particular bearer token because I might change that. So you might not be success in requesting some of the calls. Okay, so that's how different available options are there, you can practice. Okay, so that's all what I had for today. If you have any questions, do comment me, and do subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you.